Everyone's overcomplicating candlestick patterns. There are 50, 60, 70 patterns in every guide online, and 95% of them are totally useless. I trade part-time and pull in more than $10,000 a week using 6 patterns and 2 indicators. Today's guide is going to be the only one you'll ever need. Let me show you exactly what it looks like on a real chart. So come over here to my chart. Let's go over a couple of candlestick patterns first. So what is a candlestick? Before we get going, let's just look at some. Each one of these candles is a one-day candle, meaning this is today, this is Friday, this is Thursday, Wednesday, so on and so forth. And you can tell every candle kind of has its own shape. Some have these full, thick bodies. Other ones have a lot of wicks on them. There's a very small body on this one, very large wick. So what does that all mean? Well, if we come over here, I'll just start drawing some for you. Let's think about the different candles we can have. We can have candles that are just long wicks, kind of a body in the middle. And this means that we kind of started the day in the middle. Let's change the color. Started the day in the middle, moved the stock price to the top. It pulled all the way back down. Then it actually pulled lower down to the bottom here, and it rebounded back and it closed the day right in here. So this is the type of day where you just don't have a lot of momentum in either direction. These are days that I stay away from trading. I like to see momentum swinging in one direction or the other. We'll get into that later in the video. Another type of candle you can see. This is called a doji. D-O-J-I. Doji candle, not a lot going on. You can have dojis that also are smaller. They look like this. You can have dojis that kind of look like that. All different types of doji candles that basically say there's not a choice in direction of the stock. Another type of candle we have. This is an inverse hammer formation. What does that look like? Well, you see that there's that large wick on it. So let's go over what happened during the day. The stock price started here on the bottom. It moved to the top and it pulled all the way back down and it closed the day back around where it started. So it looks like the inverse of a hammer. What does that mean? It's typically going to indicate a change in direction. So if your stock price is moving in this direction, you get this inverse hammer formation like that. You're generally going to see the next couple of days that are going to be down for you. Conversely, you have a hammer formation, which is the exact opposite. Looks like this. And this is also going to indicate a change in direction. Why is that? Why do you get these changes in direction? Is it just because of the formation? No, it's because of the price action that's happening during that day. What this is telling you is that you started the day up here, you moved down, you pulled all the way back. So you can see that there was a substantial change in price in the middle of the day, as you had over here. You started the day down here, you ran up, you pulled all the way back down. So obviously, instead of the stock price going higher in this situation or lower in this situation, you had the opposite coming in there. You had sellers coming in, you had buyers coming into their respective candle. And it's just indicating that there's going to be a change in direction in the coming days. Volume is going in the opposite direction. That's why I like to identify these hammer and inverse hammer formations as a change in direction. Not going to happen every single time, but it's more likely than not going to happen if you see this pattern over and over. And what I would encourage you to do with all of these is go in and just go on any chart. Doesn't matter what the ticker symbol is. Just go in and just start finding these inverse hammer formation right in here. That was an easy one. Change in direction. See, you were going up for several days, inverse hammer formation, change in direction. Just start going through, and it's not going to happen every time, but you'll start identifying it and saying, oh, I'm identifying an inverse hammer right here. I'm probably going to change in direction, see what happens. Okay, now let's go to the next type of candle, which this is our entry signal. This is called an engulfing candlestick. I have been calling these engulfing candlesticks since I was a little kid, I guess. I was 14 years old when I started doing this. And when I start looking at this, I start saying, okay, I would like to see a candle that is a full-bodied candle, meaning little to no wicks. You're always going to have wicks. Well, not always, but let's see. So if we go and look at this candle, and you might not be able to see it, there is a 1 cent wick on the bottom of this candle, meaning that it got there and it moved back 1 cent, closed the day down there. My point in saying that is you're more often than not going to have some type of wick. That doesn't mean that it's not an engulfing candlestick. An engulfing candlestick is a candle that takes out the previous high and has a full thick body, typically and most ideally with really great volume coming into it. So if we look here on Jets the past couple of days, you had a really nice candle here. It's a pretty full, thick-bodied candle. You see there are wicks on this thing. These are not bad wicks. And you're taking out the high of the previous day, and you have fantastic volume coming in. If you look at the subsequent day, you have a really nice candle, full-bodied, good volume in it, taking out the high of the previous day. Now let's look at today, what's happening right now. Is this an engulfing candlestick? So you are taking out the high of the previous day. It's not a big, full, thick-bodied candle. This to me is not an engulfing candlestick. I would want to see something that looks more like that, meaning that, and what if we get this, what I drew, what's generally happening? You're getting an influx of volume. You're getting buyers going in the direction that you want the stock price to go. That's the idea behind this. So it can be a little bit subjective. There's no right answer here. There is a wrong answer, but there is no right answer. You are going to get this from repeating this over and over and over and over again. You're going to be able to look at any chart once you do this enough times and say, that's an engulfing candlestick, that's not. How do you do that? To me, you download all 500 stocks from the S&P 500 into your watch list and just start flipping through them every morning. Flip through them and just say, okay, engulfing candlestick, engulfing candlestick. You just keep looking for these things. If you do this enough times, this is going to become very, very simple, repeatable process, but you have to put in the work. So because we're talking about going long and going short, let's go back here and let's look at some other engulfing candlesticks. Here, really nice engulfing candlestick, down direction. You don't have a lot of wicks on this thing, taking out the low of the previous day, really good volume coming into it. Awesome. This here, really nice full-bodied candlestick, taking out the low of the previous day, good volume. Keep going through all of these charts and looking for these. If you have any questions, send them over to me in the Patreon chat. I'm more than happy to answer questions about, is this an engulfing candlestick? Is it not? Once you get this down, it is going to be very easy for your entry and exit points. So now that we know how to enter positions and the different types of candles that you see and what makes up these candles, let's look at some patterns because there's a lot of patterns out there that'll really help you to understand when to get in a stock, when to get out of a stock, when to not trade a stock, when your stock is just going to absolutely take off. There's two very specific patterns that I use that kind of give me all of those answers. Those are ugly face patterns and head and shoulders patterns. So let's go find some on the chart and explain what they look like and why they look like that. So if we stay on jets, and you're gonna typically see these in any chart that you go to. If you go to any chart, you're gonna be able to scroll out like this and say, okay, I see a bunch of ugly face patterns and head and shoulders patterns, and I see them right now. So let's walk through them. Let's talk about the head and shoulders pattern first. So a head and shoulders pattern is exactly what it sounds like. You have a head, and then you have these shoulders that are created, and this is your stick figure guy. So we're looking specifically here, here, and in here. So let's find a pattern that kind of looks like that. If we look here, we can say, okay, here's a head. Let's draw a smiley face on there. And then here you have a shoulder and a shoulder. Let's go through here. You have a head, you have a shoulder, and a shoulder. This is kind of your body that's happening. What is important, or what is so special about these things? These are very bearish signals. They kind of tell me what direction the stock is going to go. And remember, this is all about probabilities. You're trying to take the highest probability chance of making money on a trade. These help in that way. So if we look and we say, okay, and you can see these developing in real time. Some people might say, well, you're Monday morning quarterbacking this. Well, I can show you it's happening in real time. I'm actually seeing a head and shoulders pattern develop in real time. We'll draw it. We'll see if it happens in subsequent days. But the premise behind this is your stock price begins to go up a little bit. It has a little bit of a dip, then it takes off. And when it gets to this top part, what does it do? It starts to fall back a little bit. And then it rebounds just a touch. And then what happens? It starts to come down, crashing down in this direction. And this is what you're going to see with head and shoulders pattern. So you have the left side of the shoulder developing. You see a head that happens. You're just waiting for that right side of the shoulders to kind of peak out at this level, and then it will just subsequently fall. Over here, same thing. Stock price ran up a little bit, pulled back, ran up, pulled back, ran up a little bit, and then what happened? It fell. This is what we're seeing over on this side. We have the left side of the shoulder developing. We have our head. What we're waiting for is a fall in price, touch of a rebound, and then we're going to start to see this. So I would say check this over the next several days and see if this right side of that shoulder actually starts to happen. This is a very bearish signal. If you start to see these things, I'm not saying it's going to work every time, but generally, when you see head and shoulders patterns, they are going to fall in price. They're a great opportunity to short. Now we can also look at ugly face patterns. Ugly face patterns are very similar. You're seeing a stock price that kind of peaks over here, it falls. When the stock price begins to come back up, you're saying, okay, well, I saw a peak there. I saw an eye. And then I'm waiting for this eye on the right side to develop. And then what's going to happen? It's going to fall in price. So you can see this is what we're looking for. Kind of an ugly face. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. We're also seeing an ugly face pattern develop right here. Again, going on with the head and shoulders pattern, 2 and 1, this thing should fall in price. So I would encourage you, just zoom out on a chart, zoom out on any chart, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter where you go, and you just start saying, okay, where are some ugly face patterns? Here's an ugly face pattern that developed in the past, stock price fell. Here's an ugly face pattern that developed here, you ran up a couple days, stock price fell. It's a very, very good way of saying, okay, where am I going to get these pullbacks? Am I saying that these are going to be catastrophic pullbacks of 40, 50%? No, it's just giving you a general idea of probably where you can go in and grab a swing trade short. So something else important that we should talk about here is trailing stops. I'm teaching you how to get into positions. I'm showing you when stocks are going to start to fall. But what I probably haven't talked about enough is trailing stops, when to use stops, when to exit stocks. For me, when it comes to stops and trailing stops, I do not use them when I'm long-term trading or when I'm swing trading. It's just not, I just don't think I need to do that. The only time I'm going to get burned is if there's news that comes out, not earnings because I'm not trading earnings, and it just goes in the opposite direction on me. And there's no stop that's going to stop that because it's going to probably go right through the stop in pre-market trading and it's going to go the opposite direction. It's just not something that is very realistic for me when it comes to swing trading and long-term trading. However, I do use it when it comes to day trading, and I will generally use a 3 to 5% trailing stop. It completely comes down to the risk tolerance that you want. If you're somebody that wants to sit in a trade and say, I'm willing to lose 10% on this trade, put in a 10% trailing stop. I think if you use a 1 or 2% trailing stop, especially with day trades, you're going to get stopped out too quick and it's going to be very difficult to make money. I think 3 to 5% is probably that sweet spot area where you're going to not get stopped out, but you're also not going to lose a ton of money. But when it comes down to those swing trades and those long-term trades, again, you can probably use 3 to 5%. But for me, I just have never found it to be very beneficial. There's not many times that a stock is going to reverse on me. But at the same point, I'm not trading these. I'm not going in and trading on a regular basis Palantir and Tesla and whatever the big news of the day is. That's just not what I'm doing. You can see I'm trading here something like Jets, an ETF. Probably not going to spike on me in a crazy direction. Cleveland Cliffs, probably not going to change on me in a crazy direction. American Airlines, Delta, United, they're just not going to go crazy in some direction. Yeah, will they move based on oil prices because of what's happening currently? Yeah, they will, but it's not going to be a 15% swing overnight. So I don't really need to worry about trailing stops when it comes to swing trading and long-term trading. But if it's something that you want to do, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So this is going to bring us into resistance points. Support levels. If we're looking at this, and I'm gonna go to the long-term chart here, just so we can, you know what? No, I'll stay on here, and I'll pull up Jets just because we've been using Jets all morning. So let's go here. Let's get rid of that. So where would I put trailing stops on these, on Jets? So I would look and say, all right, let's zoom the chart back, and let's just start drawing in lines. This is my favorite thing to do, and I would encourage you to go and practice doing this as well. Pull up any stock, ETF, cryptocurrency, doesn't matter. If it has a chart, you can pull it up and you can find resistance and support. And just start drawing lines in there and saying, all right, where is this likely going to stop moving the price? I'm going to look and I'm going to say right here. Why? Because you had stock price ran up, kind of consolidated in this area, moved up again, bumped off of this yellow line, dropped below this yellow line, but got to this yellow line, ran way up there, came back down, stopped at this yellow line before falling. Now, when you started to come back up, you ran into this yellow line, fell back down, ran into this yellow line. Even today, running into this yellow line. You can zoom your chart out and look and say, all right, if I just draw a line there, how many times does it touch that line? If I go back even further. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go like this. And you can see we kind of peaked there, all in there, a lot of consolidation in there. And these are the points that you can put those trailing stops. You can also use your moving averages, so if you want to. So if you wanted to come and say, all right, I'm going to use my moving average of the 100-day moving average. That's where I'm going to exit the position. Yeah, you might miss a little bit of a run-up, but it's pretty safe to say every time you touch this 100-day moving average, you touch it, you fall back down. You get over it here, you fell back down. You got over it slightly here, you fell back down. This is going to fall back down. Why? Because the volume is terrible and the 100-day moving average is going to suck it right back to it. So this is just a way that you can go in and say, okay, I'm going to have a predetermined trailing stop around this level. So for me, if I'm looking at today, I'm saying, all right, this thing is up 4%. I'm going to put in, for me, I would put in probably a 4% trailing stop because I would want to exit this trade where it opened today, meaning that I made money over Friday's close. So that's what I would do. Again, I don't think it's necessary. To me, I would be exiting the position right now. I wouldn't even have a trailing stop in here. The odds of this going higher is just not there because the volume is not there. So it's just a way to say trailing stops are not super, super helpful when you're swing trading this way. Remember, my system is pretty slow and pretty boring. Now, when it comes to the 15-minute chart, yeah, it's a lot faster. I would highly, highly recommend that you use trailing stops in there of 3 to 5%. You could always go more, like I said, depending on your risk tolerance. But when it comes to this, you're always going to be able to go in here and check in real time and say, all right, I can just exit this thing without problem. That's with the caveat that you're not trading NVIDIA, Palantir. Yeah, those things are going to jump up overnight. If you want to use trailing stops for those and try to grab them, yeah, you can, but they might go right through your stops. That's just another caveat that you need to pay attention to. So let's look at Micron, for example, here. This thing is up currently 13.5%. Let's say that you were short on this. I think you would be absolutely insane to be short on this over the weekend, but let's just say you were short on it. And you had a trailing stop of, I don't know, 2%. It's going to jump up and it's going to open the day over that. You're not going to hit your stop. You're going to end up losing money. You're going to end up losing a lot of money if you were short on it. That's kind of my point. If you try to trade these semiconductors that are just going crazy right now, the trailing stop is not going to really work for you. It's better to you trade quieter stocks or pay more attention to them and don't do crazy things like short them for a long period of time. So as I said to you earlier, I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. I've been around the block. I've tried everything that's out there. I've had the 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 indicators up at one time or intermittently using it. It does not need to be that difficult. Trading is as simple as you want to make it. Keep it simple, stupid. You have a couple of patterns that you identify like I showed you. You pay attention to your volume, you pay attention to your trend, and you're probably going to do pretty well over a long period of time. Now, I don't want you going in and just blanketly copying my trades. That's not the idea here. I want you to copy me, but I want you to copy this process that I'm showing you. If you do that over a long period of time, you're going to do very well. Now, we have a trading community. It's a Patreon community where we go live and trade 4 times a week. We go through live trades. We go through these different patterns. It's all about teaching. Whatever you want those live streams to be, if you're in the community, that's what they become. Ask any questions that you have 4 times a week with me and Bailey. It is a fantastic place to be if you have been looking for a place to trade for a very long time. Now, I want you to go and watch this swing trading course that I made. It's a full course covering everything that you need to know about swing trading. The video is right here. I'll see you in the Patreon.